Hello, everybody. So I'm going to try this quiz here that we were having. Some people shared with me they were having a little trouble on, and it is tricky. I'll give you that. So in this question, this is the first one that came up for me. I'll try to use this to write here with my mouse. But Wei is standing in wavy water and notices the depth of the waves varies in a periodic way that can be modeled by a trigonometric function. So he uses or she uses a stopwatch to time the waves. After 1.1 seconds and then again every 3 seconds, the water just touches his knees. So right away, I think that's telling us that the period is every 3 seconds. So that's nice because we know 2 pi over b has to equal 3. So b is just going to equal 2 pi over 3 if you were to multiply by b and divide by 3. But also after 1.1 seconds, the water also just touches his knees. But between peaks, it recedes to his ankles. So it sounds like the knees is the maximum and the ankles is the minimum. Wei's ankles are 12 centimeters off the ocean floor and his knees are 55. So that's a total, I believe, of 43 centimeters. So half of that would be the amplitude, which is going to be 21.5. I think that sounds right. So that means the amplitude is in this spot, right? After 1.1 seconds, the thing I'm trying to figure out is if after 1.1 seconds it hits the max, does that mean it's starting at the midpoint? Well, not necessarily, because then again every 3 seconds. So I wonder if there's been a slight shift here happening. So we'll do sine since that starts at the midpoint and it seems like it's starting close to the midpoint of, what's up with this? Oh, they don't understand it. Of course, we didn't finish it. Oh, the input variable is t, so I think we said the b was 2 pi over 3. But then the t has been shifted, it looks like, to the right by 0.4. Because it should be, a quarter. Let's see if this will work first. And then it's going to be plus that mid value, which is 21.5 plus 12, which is 33.5. So I think we've got most of that. We've got the A, B, and D correct. The only thing I'm not sure about is this 1.1 seconds when it reaches its maximum. So for this one, the graph intersects its midline at 0.5, so we know its midline is at 5, has a maximum point at 7, so that means the amplitude is 2. And since it's secting at 0, 5, it's midline, then we know it's sine because it's starting at the midline. And then if it goes from the midline to the maximum, one, two, three, four. So this 0.75 is going to be a quarter of its period. So 3/4 times 4 just gives us a period of 3. So if the period is 3, we could find b by setting 3 equals to 2 pi over b. So b is just going to be 2 pi over 3 x, and then this plus 5 should come after. Let's check it out. We got that one. Now we want to graph this. So right away, since it's cosine, well, it should start at its maximum. But if we look here, it's been reflected, so that means it's still going to start at its minimum, and it's going to be amplitude of 3. Oh, I did that by accident. Okay. But then the whole thing's been shifted down 6, so it'll go from a midline of -6 to a minimum of -9, a max of -3. But then this is the tricky part, is with the period. So we need to determine if the period of b is pi over 6, what's 2 pi divided by pi over 6? Well, we can multiply by the reciprocal. We get 2 pi times 6 over pi, which is nice because the pi's cancel, and I get 12. So let's check it out. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. So we gotta do 3 times that to get 12. That should work. Okay, keep it rolling. So a trigonometric function of the form h of x equals a times sine of b of x plus c plus d. Wow. The function intersects its midline at 2.5, so we know d is 2.5, that d at the end. Maximum's at 6, so we know the amplitude is 2.5 to 6 is 3.5. This one, oh, it says it's in the form of sine, so usually sine starts at the midline, so we're going to have to think about how this was shifted. It looks like it was shifted over about 2 pi. But we need to figure out the period. So if it goes from the midline to here, so that would be from -4 pi to -5 pi over 2. So that's a difference of 3 pi over 2. And 3 pi over 2 times 4 would give us the period. So that'll give us, the period is actually 6 pi. So the b is going to have to be, well, it's going to have to be x divided by 3, because if we think about it like this, 2 pi over b, well, it's going to have to be 1/3 b to get us that period. But the thing that's a little bit different is it's also been shifted. Interesting. And it looks like it's been shifted to the left 4 pi. So I have to do x plus 4 pi there inside the parentheses. This 2.5 should not be And then let's see if it gives it to us. We did it. Tricky one there. And then here we've got negative sine of pi eighth. So up 7, starting at the midpoint, going down just 1, because it's just negative, so it's going down instead of up. The amplitude is just 1 still. But now we got this pi over 8, so let's think about it. If b is pi over 8, 2 pi divided by pi over 8 multiplied by the reciprocal, that's going to give me 16, right? So this is a quarter of it, so a quarter of 16 is 4. We got it. Oh man, 4 out of 5 correct. That first one really threw me for a loop, but I think I get it now.